We're getting closer and closer to Christmas Day, but it's Christmas time all month long here at the North Carroll Cooperative Parish, and we're glad that you've joined us tonight and this weekend. The opportunity that we have before us is to think about Christmas past. Last week we were not too far back in 1998, and this week we go back 20 more years into 1978. As I'm thinking about 1978 and thinking about all the Christmas dinners and opportunities to celebrate that I had with my own family, I think about the many times that we would be having dinner, and as the dishes were being cleared and maybe some other games were starting to be played, or presents unwrapped or put together, toys and that sort of thing, it wasn't unusual for me to look up, or for us to look up, and my brother Paul would be gone. And so we would look around and we'd say, "Hey, where's Paul?" And we would soon discover that he had gone off to the movies. Now, he loved to go to the movies on Christmas Day. I don't think we took it personally. I think he just really liked going to the movies and getting some alone time after a busy day. But in fact, he's not alone. Going to the movies at Christmas is a tradition for millions of folks in the United States. It's just a thing that people do. And these big time movie studios, they know that. Plus all the award shows are coming up fairly soon at the beginning of the year. And so they release a lot of their blockbusters in December as the year closes out. And so as we're thinking about 1978, I invite you to look in your Grow Guide this week, and you're going to see some pictures on the page that help you to be transported back in time. You see some pictures of the Montgomery Ward catalog and some action figures, and you see the president, Jimmy Carter, at the time. And there's some little boy down here, yes, that is a boy, in a red shirt. He looks really familiar, and he was probably about 6 years old then. I'm guessing kindergarten, so I don't know who that possibly could be. But also on there is a picture, and it gives you a clue to this question. Do you know what movie, what blockbuster epic film was released this week in 1978? I'll pause just for a moment to see if anybody shouts out the correct answer. Well, if you said Superman, you were correct. The original Superman full-length epic film was released in 1978. Clark Kent, of course, was played by Christopher Reeves, and it was an awesome movie. I'm not really into like the new Marvel films. I'm not into superheroes per se. I liked He-Man on TV. Certainly not into sci-fi, or not even into Star Wars, I'm sorry to say. But I loved Superman, and it came out in 1978. Superman is an awesome figure, number one. I mean, he was fighting for good over evil. His arch nemesis was Lex Luthor. His name, Superman's name, more than just being Clark Kent as his persona would be, and as his adopted parents would name him when he came to Earth, back on his own planet, he was known as Kal-El as a baby. And El with the EL reminds us of the God language in the Old Testament. That's one of the Hebrew words for God is El. And so there's all sorts of ways that Superman helps us to think about faith themes. If nothing else, the good versus evil, and Superman coming to Earth to save the world. But one particular way that's really interesting is thinking about him of just being an ordinary man. And I love the early scenes of the movie when he comes as a baby, and the little old couple, the farmers, discover him, and he just looks like an ordinary, normal baby. And then it doesn't take long for them, though, to see that he has some extraordinary strength. And of course, that's going to be his main thing. He has superhuman strength, and that's how he's going to save the world from evil acts, especially of Lex Luthor. And so, as I invite you also to consider this one little verse that we have this week. And so we back up from the two verses that we had last week, where we learned about the ritual cleansing and some of the rituals, and we were asking ourselves, this gift that the mother of the baby brought, the mother of Jesus brought, what does it mean that they brought a gift from a place of poverty, and what does it mean about them and about Jesus, and what does it mean about us? What does it mean about their life in terms of the law of Judaism? And ultimately, though, what's it mean about the grace extended to us and who it's available to? And so as we back up and we learn more about this family, we see more ritual type things taking place. The circumcision, okay, again, so it's not unusual. It's an ordinary, normal thing for this family to be doing. 8 days was the time allotted that then you would bring the child to be circumcised. And just a reminder there of the covenant. So he's going to be part of the covenant, fulfilling that part of the law. And that he's also going to be named during this time. And so nothing out of the ordinary, just a normal, this is just a normal, small, little, young family that's doing all the things that ordinary young families would be doing. And so just very humble beginnings. And nothing extraordinary, save the note. And we have a little note inserted in here by the Gospel according to Luke. And this is what the note is. It's right in the middle of the verse. It says, in reference to the name Jesus, the note is, "This was the name given to him by the angel before he was conceived." And so as we come here, we think we're looking at an ordinary, just a normal, mundane family. Just like the farmers finding Clark Kent or baby Kal-El there, little Superman, finding him as a baby. They just think it's ordinary, normal. And so we can get kind of lulled to sleep here if we just read this verse really. Oh, this is just one verse, let's just fly through it. But no, this note here helps us to pause for a moment, and just in case we have forgotten or that we forget that this is not just a normal, ordinary, mundane story about a small little family having a baby and doing all the things they're supposed to do in terms of the law and ritual, just in case we have forgotten, we're reminded here by this note that says it's the angel who had named him. And so not the dad, not the mom, not the grandparents, not anybody else in the family circle, not a tradition being passed down, but an angel has named this child. So whoa, right away, we're noticing this is like in the Superman movie when the farmers, they see him lifting up the car as a baby, and they're like, whoa, this is not an ordinary, mundane, normal child. There's something to this child that's different, that's outside of the normal, mundane, ordinary, small family life of a new parents doing what they're supposed to be doing. And so with that note helps us to remind us that this is an epic tale. We are in the middle. We have backed up. We started at the end, now we have backed up. We're in the middle of this epic tale. I mean, this is like a made-for-movie, made-for-TV tale about something that's not ordinary at all. In fact, this is our Savior. This is a place where we see that He is going to be Savior. His name means God saves. And He wasn't just named by anybody, He was named by an angel. And it's pointing this back towards a passage that we'll have to get more information later. Like what do we mean an angel has named this child? And that's something that we'll have to look forward to finding out more about as we continue this series, Christmas Time. And so, with these, within the midst of this ordinary, mundane, normal, something extraordinary stands out, and it reminds us of this epic tale, this super baby. Not to make light of Jesus, but it's true. This is not an ordinary person being born, being named here, being circumcised. This is God. This is a fully human baby and fully God baby going through all this. And it's extraordinary, and it's epic, and it's amazing, and it's wonderful, and it's ordinary, and it's mundane, and it's normal all at the same time. And so that's another clue about how this story is going to unfold, not just looking back and getting more answers, but as we go forward in the scriptures and as we come into our own lives today. It's a great reminder that we don't always have to go climbing mountains and looking for these so-called mountaintop experiences where we have these super fantastic spiritual moments or these gigantic miracles of epic proportion. No, that's not how God solely operates. God operates precisely in these moments, these ordinary, mundane, normal, everyday life events that you and I participate in. And so we don't have to wake up today and say, man, I got to go climb the mountain so I can meet God. No, God's going to meet us where we are, starting with our oatmeal bowl, starting with our commute, starting with walking the dog, starting with our interactions with friends and strangers, starting with just ordinary things that we're doing in the day. To get through the day, God is going to be there meeting us in extraordinary ways, even as we live out our ordinary lives. And that's just an amazing way to think about this Jesus, this epic tale of the birth of Jesus, in terms of the way God's going and has and will operate in our own lives. So I give thanks for this little teeny verse that has such magnificent impact on our lives today. And so I give thanks for that and for the opportunity to ponder that in our hearts as we go forward in all your ordinary moments this week. Think about how Jesus is making an epic impact in supernatural ways, God interacting in your life, in your natural everyday coming and going.